Well, with me now, Wimbledon great Ian Cooke. What does it mean to you to be here on this special day, the day that demolition work started at Wimbledon Stadium?
Well, for me, it's the next stage in Wimbledon's further development, and a momentous day, a day when we can start to think of a stadium as our own, and then working on from there.
You've been a part of the story every step of the way with AFC Wimbledon. It's a remarkable story. It goes from strength to strength. It proves it can be done. Yes.
It rather puts to shame the FA comment about not in the wider interests. And when you get a band of people who are so determined, of all the people that have been involved, Ivor, Eric, but I could go on and on naming all the people that were involved, but all those people over the years, and all the fans especially, have banded together and made it happen.
So let's just turn the clock back a little bit. Southern League days, 1960s, 1970s, FA Cup as well. Some very special memories for yourself of Wimbledon playing at the original Plough Lane. Yes,
we had some great games there. I first played a first team game in '64, and I had a year in the reserves, but we had a good crowd at Plough Lane. We had some tremendous matches there. I won't start talking about them individually because there were so many, but the pitch was very heavy at times, and it was because of that we played the FA Cup. We play at Crystal Palace against Leeds. So looking back, those Alan Batsford days, the Alan Batsford era, he started the forward march, and God bless him, and it took us to where we are now, really.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Dickie Guy with us today as we did at the Section 106 agreement, but Dave Bassett, the man who got Wimbledon up through the leagues into the First Division, is here today, and no more really a special character you could have for this occasion, I suppose.
No, Dave, very forceful character, took the club along, did wonders for the club, and achieved so much before in his time before he left. And yes, he still comes down and has been a great force in the promotion of Wimbledon over the years.
So looking forward now, I mean, we were sort of lucky to be a part of for you to play at Plough Lane, for me to come and watch at Plough Lane, but now this gives a whole new generation a chance to come and watch Wimbledon back in its community.
Yes, and I think that when we moved to Crystal Palace and then reformed and went to Kingstonian, I'm sure there must have been a lot of people living in this area who didn't make the journey with us for one reason or another, and maybe that will attract those people to come back. And also, being a very residential area, there's going to be a lot of people that would like to come and watch, and they will be very welcome, and hopefully we can at least double our gate up to sort of near the 10,000 mark, because that would help to promote the club and take the club even further forward.
Absolutely, and of course there's so much that the football club can give to its community. We've got the foundation down here as well today. It's such an important part of the future of how Wimbledon will be going forward here in the community. Yes, the youth setup is fantastic. I mean, they started about 5 or 6, and a lot of them are still with us at the teenage and late teenage stage. 1 or 2 have made it to the first team, and yes, the community, I'm sure, will benefit greatly from not only the football, but also the facilities that are there, and everything that we can do to promote the club will be done. We didn't set out to set an example, we just set to try and get a club back in its community, but it just shows it can be done. Yes, and I believe I met someone not so long ago from Chester who are going through a terrible time at the moment, and their supporters are working very hard to do exactly what we're doing, and I think it's an inspiration in many respects, and you will get, probably over the years, there will probably be more and more football supporters getting involved with trusts to try and get their club further forward. When the digger moved in there and put the first crunching bite into the stadium there, similar to a Selwyn Rice tackle back in the 70s perhaps? Very much so. I speak to Selwyn quite frequently, and I'm always reminded of when I collided with him in training, and he only got a small brush against him with Selwyn, but he was so solid it hurt you. And yeah, Selwyn still comes with us and comes to see us quite frequently. But there's so many of the old Wimbledon players that will still be interested, and they'll see this today and they'll be so happy to see this event starting to take place, yeah? Yes, I'm sure that when we have our first match, there will be a lot of ex-Wimbledon players that would like to be there and will be very welcome to come, I'm sure. So yes, we'll have a good reunion on that day. Ian, it's great to see you down here, and thanks for joining us. Thank you very much, Rob.